My name is Tiffany Ott, and I teach at Canterbury Elementary School in Cleveland Heights. I teach 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade gifted students, and I work with them in math and ELA in an enrichment pullout classroom. Since implementing the grid method in my classroom, there are a lot of changes that I've seen with my students. They're a lot more independent of learners. Instead of needing me to walk them through every step, they understand what the grid is telling them they need to do. They go get their resources from the filing bin and they get started. And I don't have to do quite as much hand holding as I used to have to do all the time. Since I started the grid method, one of the changes I've seen in my students is their actual achievement of the standards that I'm trying to get them to learn. I might not have all of my students get all the way through the grid. They might not be at level 4 or level 5, but I know when my students pass a certain learning opportunity, when they prove to me that they know it, they really, really know it. So using the grid method in my classroom has not only made a lot of changes for my students, but it's actually made my life a lot better too. Not only am I exploring new ideas in my profession, pushing the boundaries and changing up the way I teach, but I also have a lot more time. I spend maybe 5 or 6 hours at the start of a unit planning my entire grid. I use the same lessons, the activities, a lot of the same things I've always done, but now I just spend that time putting it all into a grid. After that initial planning is done, I don't have to do daily planning. My plan is done. The students know what they're doing, the materials are ready for them, and I have a good 3 to 4 weeks of students just working through the grid. So that means that I have more time to help them when they're stuck because I'm not scrambling trying to finish a lesson plan. I have more time to make sure that my student interactions are really meaningful. I also have more time at home. I'm not bringing home bags and bags of papers to sit there and grade all night. So I'm improving student learning, I'm making my life easier, and I'm giving these students skills that are going to help them for the rest of their life. Responsibility for themselves, independent learners. It's a win-win.
It's really fun, learning at my own pace. It gives me a chance to experience how things work. So if you're having trouble, you wouldn't have to just be forced to move along with everyone else. You could stay where you are and just learn more about it, so you wouldn't have as much trouble with it.
I like that sometimes when we get up, we say that we've won a new car, and then we give it to Mrs. Ott.
If a teacher was thinking about teaching this way but wasn't doing it yet, I would tell them that their students would really like it because it might help them get better grades if they were more relaxed about when their work is due.
I think it would be better if more of my classes would be with the grid method, so it will get them engaged in learning to learn more in school instead of being bored all the time. It's a great way for students to learn.
As teachers, we get into this job because we want to change kids' lives. We get into this job because we believe in children and their power to make a difference in the world. And when I see this kid who's been told he's not as smart as the tests say, who's been told he's a behavior problem, who gets sent to the office all the time, and I see the difference I'm making in this kid, I see the smile on his face when he has been working on a task for 4 or 5 days, and then he's sitting with me and finally he goes like this, "Oh my gosh, it means this, I totally get it." And then he gets his signature on his grid and he has that pride to go on to the next step knowing that he can do it. And what power does that have for this kid as he grows up in his life? When he goes on to the next grade or when he goes on into high school or when he's an adult, to know that he is in control of what he knows and what he learns, and that he is in control of what he does with his own life. What do you have to lose? 6 hours of your planning time and 3 weeks of instruction? That's nothing. Give it a try. Guys, guess what?
What?
Nikolai leveled up!
Yay! It's a brand new car!
Please do it now.